Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel, to my Wonderland. It is a coffee time, and today, because it is close to Halloween, I am bringing you a video about spooky / horror movies that are based on true events. Now, when I went into this video, I wanted to look for movies that are not as obvious as The Exorcist, Child's Play, or things like that, because we all know those, or Amityville. I came across a lot of movies about cannibalism that were true events and things like that, which, you know, reminds me how creepy this world is. I should make actually a video as well, now that I'm thinking about it, about serial murders and cannibalism and things like that, documentaries, because I really dig those, and there are many that are for free actually here in YouTube, so maybe I can recommend you one of the ones that I found more interesting. Let me know down below if you would like one of those videos. First, we have Borderland from 2007, and we all know the criminal and cult leader Manson, but here we have another one that was basically as bad as him. We have here maybe a cult leader you might not know so much about. Not so many people know about Adolfo de Jesus Constanzo. In this movie, we experience very gory human ritual sacrifices. Basically, in this cult and in this movie, everything is cut. Spoiler alert, they cut everything you can imagine in the human body. But you might not know Adolfo de Jesus Constanzo. He was Cuban / American, and he was a criminal and the leader of a cult. Our main leader, it is a Cuban American serial killer, drug dealer, and cult leader, so it is the basically perfect son-in-law for you. The cult that he was leading was charged with a lot of ritualistic killings and murders in Mexico. Next, we have The Town That Dreaded Sundown from 1976. This movie is based on a real story because there was a phantom killer. The murders took place in Texas between February and May from 1946. In a period of 10 weeks, our killer that was back then known as the Phantom Killer actually attacked 8 people, but he only ended up killing 5. The first 2 victims that he tried to kill actually escaped, and then he performed his first double murder, and the police was trying to catch him. So they were trying to get him to fall into a trap and everything. But then after some months, the killing stopped after his 5th victim. So they just assumed that he had moved on and he just had moved somewhere else. Then we have Henry, a portrait of a serial killer, and this movie was supposed to be released in 1986, but it was so intense that people were not sure they wanted to publish this, and it finally saw the air in 1990. Before he was Merle in The Walking Dead, and before he was Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy, Michael Rooker was already killing it. Get it? Killing it? You're welcome. It is based on the story of a real serial killer from America called Henry Lee Lucas. At the very beginning, he was kind of charged with over 100 unsolved murders, but then he was changing also all the time the amount of murders that he wanted to admit. These murders took place in the 60s and the 70s, and he ended up being convicted only to 3 of those murders. But however, he was sentenced to death row. Then we have Dahmer from 2002, where we find another famous actor, Jeremy Renner, before he became Hawkeye. It is the story of a recluse in Wisconsin that captures, kills, and does really unspeakable things to a total of 17 males. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was known as the Milwaukee Cannibal. He was a serial killer and a sex offender, and he committed sexual abuse, murder, and dismemberment of bodies in a total of 17, both male young boys and adult males. His murders also include necrophilia and cannibalism. What a treat! Then we have the Mothman prophecies from 2002. From 1966 to 1967, there was a lot of people that started to say that they were seeing this creature that had no head but had on the chest these glowing red eyes. He was supposed to be 6 to 7 feet tall, and at the beginning people started to think that this was like something to laugh about, that it was something funny and not taking it serious. But more and more people started to claim that they were seeing this creature. And then the journalist John A. Keel started to doing like a real research on everything and getting really deep into the story. He got so deep that he actually claimed that the entities called him via phone. Then I decided to include one story at least about exorcism, and that is The Exorcism of Emily Rose from 2005. The movie is basically about a lawyer that has to defend a priest that has been charged with homicide after a girl dies after he performs an exorcism. In real life, a German girl called Annalisa actually died after they performed an exorcism on her. She was considered to be malnourished and dehydrated, and they accused her parents as well as the priest that performed the exorcism, and they charged them with homicide. Since it was only considered negligent homicide, they only had to endure 3 years of probation. But actually what it is believed that killed Annalisa was not the exorcism, but the fact that she was dealing with epilepsy. Then we have the amazing Wolf Creek from 2005. In the movie, we just follow some backpackers that are being hunted by a man as they travel Australia. In real life, the director of the movie decided to base the story in actually 3 different murders. We have the Snowtown murders, and it is a total of 11 grisly murders committed by 4 men and 1 woman. These murders happened in the very small town Snowtown in the south of Australia. Next we have The Girl Next Door from 2007, and I remember when I watched this movie I felt really uncomfortable watching it. It is one of those movies that really shows you how fucked up people are. In the movie we follow a young woman that it is being kidnapped and tortured in America in a basement. We are in the year 1965 and we're following the story of the young teenager, the 16-year-old Sylvia Likens. She was tortured, humiliated, and sexually abused by her caretakers for months, including also some neighborhood kids. Like, can this get more disturbing? After all of these abuses and also due to malnourishing and dehydration, she ended up dying in the basement from this family. I mean, you already know this before you go into the story because this is based on real events, so that is what actually happened, which is truly frightening. But it is a movie that I think everybody should watch because it has a really strong impact. Then we have The Strangers from 2008, because who has never been scared when you are home and somebody knocks on your door? Well, my friend, this movie is also based on true events. In the movie, we just follow a family which has been harassed and killed by a group of masked individuals. This is also inspired by 3 different events. The first one being one that the writer/director himself lived in his own flesh. He was home, he was a young boy, and his parents were not home, and somebody knocked on the door. He decided not to open the door, but then he heard in the news that actually there was a group of really dangerous people that were going into apartments and robbing people, and this really impacted him and is one of the ideas that came when making the movie. He was also inspired by the Manson murders because they went into a house and killed a total of 5 people. And he also was inspired by the case of the Katy Cabin murders, in which a woman and her children were killed in a remote resort in California. So put all of this together and you get The Strangers. And the last one that I would like to mention here is one that I really enjoyed when I watched it, and that is Zodiac from 2007. And this is also inspired by a murder that, just like the Phantom Killer, was never identified and was never caught. It is about a killer that was active in the 60s and the 70s in the Bay Area in San Francisco. He's linked to 5 different killings, but also they say that he allegedly killed 4 men and 3 women, but since he never was found, it is hard to say. He did send some letters to the press, a total of 4 with some cryptograms, but they could only solve one of them. Alright guys, so these are 10 movies that are spooky horror movies based on true events. Let me know down below what you thought about my picks, and if you know of any other ones that I should check out. Give the video a thumbs up for support, subscribe to the channel, all my other social media is listed down below, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!